We can begin. Welcome, one and all, to the Opus Magnum Weeklies 2022. This is the 11th week. I think I got that right. The puzzle is Brazing Cathode. This is another one of my puzzles, actually. It's about the puzzle itself. I guess I was sitting on this this input-output kind of combination for a while. I was considering it free space first, but then I kind of liked it in a production chamber better. The actual size of the production chamber, we went through quite a few iterations. This was the largest of them. I think it helps, especially in cycles, to make the chambers bigger. Ultimately glad I did. Yeah, I kind of liked the funny, I don't know, it was a funny input to output ratio. The ideal ratio is 46 inputs to 9 outputs, in case anyone didn't get that. It was talked about a bit during the week.
That's what I figured what it was, but I know that usually pure projection you can solve by setting up linear equations and solving them, but I sat down, I filled out the equations, and I wound up with like 2 more equations than variables, and I was like, what? Literally hasn't happened to me before. So I don't know if I set them up wrong or what, but like I had to make some assumptions about what paths you should take in the pure projection process, and wound up with the 46 to 9. But
yeah, it also,
I mean, this is slightly easier. Sorry, because you're always purifying lead to iron, because there's not that much tin in the output. So.
but yeah, I kind of, it all. If I remember correctly, Fiesta 618 also got a bit tripped up by the rate ratio calculation. I liked it because, like, obviously, it's not practical to actually aim for 46 to 9. You just don't have enough space for 46 to 9 in this chamber. I know we don't really talk about RA much as a thing, but yeah, no, you just do not have enough space for that. So you have to settle for a subpar ratio, but then the question is, which subpar ratio do you settle for? And that was kind of my thought process with cycles. With VI, I knew this was going to be this was going to be much easier, a VI puzzle, than last year's, because last year's was like a really fun primary challenge, but we never saw that much secondary optimization, with the exception of like 3 solves. It was like Rebix, Mr. Puzzle, and I got some decent secondary optimization, and no one else did. So I wanted a VI puzzle where secondary optimization was an actual thing. And this secondary optimization ended up being really weird for VI. I'm going to start using the letter P instead of T to describe products per tape loop. So yeah, the P number was all over the place. We'll get to that later, but first I am going to start with cycles. I don't know, how did everyone find the puzzle itself? Like, solving-wise? Or fun-wise, I should say.
I mean, solving it, well, I did a speed solve, and turns out not having infinite space in your speed solve means that if you put the bonder in the wrong place, you have to do a bunch of pivots, and it's really awful.
I actually like the idea of having the speed solve in a production chamber. It was done once this year, and
yeah,
that was like
fun.
That was like the best one. Alright, a lot of these look like instruction solves.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I didn't have to do this in free space, because I'm not dealing with 45 to 9 or whatever it was. Free space.
Yeah, I had considered doing like a rate showcase, and I was debating allowing myself to exit the chamber to do it, and I just. Ugh. I didn't want to put in that much
It is
effort.
not nice,
Oh,
yeah.
It's brutal.
We actually do have a free space rate showcase.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
Fiestaland actually got one, and from their rubber duckying, it sounded like it was very involved. So yeah, pretty nasty ratio if you actually go for it. Alright, so we're going to start with Madmaster's speed solve, and it is going to come in 22nd place, because it is a speed solve. QS, what for?
This does not look like a cycle solve. Wait, according to like the stream overlay, this is definitely not a cycle solve.
Well, it wasn't a VI solve either. There's 20. It would have scored 24 vintage instructions or modern instructions.
Yeah, I do see pistons, so.
And all the other VI submissions are literally 0, so... Alright, so this is the puzzle being solved. Yeah, just actually solving it, like, I don't know. It is, as far as production puzzles go, very approachable. Which, yeah, I was kind of hoping would attract more interest. Because, yeah, a lot of people sleep on production puzzles.
This puzzle has a lot of different, like, pathways that you can use to projectify what you have. So you have a lot of different options.
Yeah, I think the main thing was, for me at least, was for making the repeated monomer of copper bonded to silver. Like, what's the best way to make that thing?
Yeah. I did try making it by I did try some solves where I did the ring of metal, but then like the quicksilver attached to tin, and then like adding them on one at a time. But
yeah, this is also not 160 or P, I guess. So
yeah, what
are
is
you sure
this?
this is the right solve?
So if I click, alright, it just makes one, so it's just 1p. It just goes, yeah, it goes for a while. A lot of reset instructions too. That's how you can. It's alright when it's a speed solve. I won't sass the reset instructions this time.
Yeah, is the overlay correct?
What does the overlay say?
The overlay says
Not Jasper, VII.
Why does it say not Jasper?
Right, no,
Wait,
but
what?
like it says 1104 cycles, 350 gold, but we don't have.
What? That's not what it says on my end at all. Oh, that's kind of...
no.
Alright, so that's weird. That's a non-scoring solve that shouldn't have popped up at all. Alright, I'm gonna move ahead to the first actual, what I can tell is the first cycle solve. It's Alienate Me. Alright, the right solution booted up. Let's just check. Alright, that's better.
Hey,
Yep.
there we go.
Hey!
Alright, now I'm very curious what's gonna happen when Not Jasper comes up. We're gonna have to find that one out the hard way. So, yeah. It's supposed to say Madmaster. I don't have the faintest idea why it doesn't. Anyway, in 13th place, Alienate Me.
This one also has reset instructions, I approve.
Disapprove. Unsubscribe. No track though. Oh, actually, there's a bit of track and it starts with a minus.
Okay, that's also good. This
Nice.
is my perfect. I am a minus OMC user, so.
OMG. I can't.
I still can't believe when I did that poll about like whether you prefer resets or whether you prefer plus or minus. I was I am one of two people. Like I did not expect not resetting and preferring minus to be like a thing that no one does. I'm still a little cut that no one does it like that except for Chilair.
Yeah, I think like minus and reset. I think I was alone with Pentavig or something like that.
Like
My Galaxy.
it definitely wasn't the most popular option, but there was like a good handful, like 6 or 7 people still picked it. But yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so anyway, about this solve, it looks to be a, 18 cycle? 19 cycle loop, which is limited by purification because it... What is the purification algorithm? Because it's projecting a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna run it again. Yeah, it's doing, Oh, it's purifying 8 iron, get you 4 copper, and then you purify 2 copper once to get your silvers.
So, yeah, interestingly, it purifies all the iron.
And it looks like it could go. It looks like the tape loop could be shorter if it wasn't for arm.
Oh yeah, the piston of Armade as well is overworked because
Oh yeah, 8
it's grabbing all the copper from the purification, I guess.
Yeah, and interestingly, Quicksilver's not grabbed every second cycle. Which owes to the length of the tape loop, in all likelihood.
On the it's just a nice 19 cycle loop.
Yeah, this is nice. Wasn't too intensive. So you like, yeah, like nitpicking. It's probably just gonna be harsh because it was just like a solve that was submitted and it does decent on cycles.
Yeah.
It did better than the 9 people that didn't submit for cycles. Or
Are you gonna have to read out the list?
Yeah. Shame him live on stream.
All right. Team 42, no cycles. Goodbye Galaxy, no cycles. Faindeer, no cycles. John, no cycles. Brother Mojo, no cycles. Random Guests, no cycles. Rebix, no cycles. Jason, no cycles. Tut.
So, Alienate, congratulations on beating like 9 people.
Yeah, this is like top 2/3, right? Counting the people who didn't submit the cycles.
All I'm saying is, Team 42 is supposed to be, there's a cycles main on that team, and you beat him. Just putting it out there. Well, I mean, Biggie claims to be a cycles main, but I'm still not convinced.
Yeah, I mean, Team 42 this week was entirely Genius 42 because Biggie had some keyboard issues this week.
All that, and, yeah, he COVID issues as well, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Alright. Stupid Rona. Alright. We will move on to 12th place. We have Topo Mouse, who managed to squeak under 200 cycles.
Sub 200 club.
So yeah, projection only pipeline, but they are actually pulling Quicksilver every 2 cycles. So yeah, they get a lot more Quicksilver to work with.
Yeah, so this looks to be Quicksilver limited. Needs 8 Quicksilver every output, so 6 will take you.
Something I didn't acknowledge consciously, the fact that the conduit is 2 hexes big, but it can also be treated as 2 1-hex conduits.
Yeah, which is what it does there. I always just bonded before the conduit, but this makes it so you're not as limited by conduit throughput.
Yeah, that does come up a couple times, the conduit, being able to be treated like 2 single hexes. That will come up a few times over the course of this stream. This being one of them. But yeah, not too shabby. It's a simple idea, and it's executed about as well as could be expected.
yeah, like pretty decent latency.
Yeah.
Well, like I think it outputs the cycle the last Quicksilver responded, so perfect latency, actually.
Yeah, so it's this one. So yeah, all that's pretty good latency. So yeah.
And then yeah, final. I guess it's not perfect latency. It could have been 6 speed. I doubt it saves. It might have saved what? Because you can have ARM2 just do grab,
Oh.
rotate.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Save one re-grab.
Yeah.
I mean,
that
does that save a place? Was there someone at 188?
absolutely not. It would not have come close.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was yeah, that would have been that would have been effort sorely wasted. But yeah, I guess with that we can move on though. Coming in 11th place at 175 cycles, we go to Irrational Guy.
Oh.
Who I don't think this is an irrational rate this week. That would be astounding. Also, I'm not even sure if you... Can you do it in a production chamber, irrational rate?
Surely not, right?
That's what... Surely not.
I believe the proof is something like the box containing all of the instructions on the tape loop is finite. So the amount of board states is finite. So if you don't halt, pretty certain it's something like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the board state being finite, I think, kills the idea.
Yep. Irrational Guy posted it in the Discord. Possible to be irrational with limited space.
Yeah.
It's in his name, so I trust it.
Yeah. So anyway, this is what 6 Quicksilver used to project iron and 1 using the output for 14 loop, which is basically just the entire cycle stage because it's 28 cycles faster than the previous 24, yeah. Exactly 12 cycles faster. 12 times 2 can do.
Yeah. Yes, it's literally just that one bit of purification at the bottom, if I'm reading it correctly.
Yeah, that saves 1 Quicksilver every loop, which is 2 cycles per loop. 12 outputs.
24 cycles. Yeah, that did exactly 24 cycles. Funny, it looks subtle, but yeah, that's a full 24 cycles.
ARM5 has a pivot. I was wondering what that was. ARM5 just has a pivot while it's not grabbing anything.
Oh, this one in the... It just has random pivots.
Hang on, that's not the only... It's not the only arm with a random pivot.
Oh, you know what?
Well, they all have random pivots.
What is this?
What the hell? No.
So the only functional reason I could think of is that it makes it easy to do repeats.
Yeah, it makes OMV a lot
pivot to make. Yep. Yeah, Irrational Guy just posted that in Discord as well.
Right. Okay. I think I used to do that with drop instructions. I never did it with pivots.
Yeah, funny, but fair enough.
No, yeah, understandable. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Instructions was removed as the tertiary, so extra pivots doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. The instructions being removed as a tertiary had me a little worried about getting secondary ties. And then, because I think Panic just changed it, and I think I was asleep at the time because time zones. At the time, I was against the change. I probably wouldn't have wanted to myself, and was kind of worried. But we didn't get any secondary ties, so ultimately it actually was justified, I have to admit.
Interesting.
So still waiting for someone to win a tertiary tie by not moving their soul.
Yeah, that would have been rough, honestly, if there was like a secondary tie right at the pointy end. And someone wins by not resetting or something. That would have stung a bit. Alright. Moving on to the top 10 though. We drop down to 170 cycles with Cuckoo 52. Alright. This is where they get more intensive.
Oh, yep, this looks like iron is being purified.
Alright, so I have a breakdown of the iron.
Yeah, so it's purifying 2 iron every 5. Still Quicksilver limited, but because one of the iron is purified, you need 1 less Quicksilver. It uses 5 Quicksilver to project iron. Well, yeah, 5 Quicksilver to project iron and then 1 in the output, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Oh, that's interesting. 14 is doing 14 and 15. Oh, yeah, I just noticed that 14 and 15 hand off a copper every once in a while.
Let's say get a 1 sneaky purification.
Oh, huh,
in.
yeah, I didn't notice that at all. Huh.
Oh, that's sneaky.
Oh yeah, because you need to pull 5 iron. You can't use the burst purifier, or maybe that's just too many problems. Because yeah, there's only 1 purifier in this game because it just doesn't fit otherwise.
Oh yeah, the purification, the iron purification, I believe, pumps the oddball copper right inside. Yeah.
Yeah, hang on. This would be a pretty absurd amount of latency for 12 to 1. That would be 30 or 25 cycles of latency. Maybe it's not 60.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting just how much latency here, because yeah, this is a 12 to 1. Sorry, this is a 12R pipeline, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like one, pretty sure. Like, I guess copper being purified means that it's necessarily not 12 to 1. Maybe? Because... Wait. No, I still don't understand.
Well, so the thing that initially threw me off when it was mentioned that this is a 12R solution is that
it's just not grabbing Quicksilver every... Like,
no, it
you
should
see
be.
at the start of Arm 1, tape loop, like the Arm 1 is on a 14 loop.
Wait, is it not grab Quicksilver?
No, that's because of Arm 3.
Yeah, Arm 3 sneaks in, gets 1, but because 12R is sub-optimal rate, you have multiple routes. Like, there's multiple recipes for making something at 12R. This is using Quicksilver. This is using every single Quicksilver it can, which means you get extra metals, I believe. And so I think that might be where that copper purification is coming from.
Yeah, you're getting a little too much copper in comparison through purification, so some of it gets stored away and you get a bonus silver from that.
I would like to mention that Arm 10 that's a really good layout for...
Yeah, Arm 10 is gorgeous.
It's really good for getting those metals and like getting everything bonded together and stuff.
Yeah, it's really nice and quick. And it really works nicely with this extra silver idea, because you can just like squeeze it in here, get arm 10 to grab a cycle early. This is
I think we might need Cuckoo to explain their solve if we want to know exactly how it works. Pretty cool. Yeah, Cuckoo solves are not always the easiest to digest.
Yeah, interestingly, Brother Mojo points out there is a pause in the Quicksilver grabbing at the end of the tape loop. So here, it's not being grabbed. So it does reset every... So, alright, every 3 products it does reset. Which further complicates the arc calculation.
Yeah, I think it might just be a lost cause.
Yeah.
It's somewhere between 12 and 14. We can leave it at that.
We'll go with that. Interesting to look at, though. Alright. Moving on to 9th place. We drop down 3 cycles to Calyuresis, who very presciently named his solution 3 cycles faster.
Amazing. Sometimes it matters.
Great call, Calyuresis. It was 3 cycles faster.
It's making silver from iron. Okay.
Right, so there's some... So, yeah, it's all the lead. So it does make iron, but it makes... Sorry, yeah, it makes tin, but it makes a lot of tin, and it makes so much tin that you get extra... You get an extra copper, silver... I get mono thing.
Yeah, this kind of looks like something I made, where it's sort of just an odd one out pipeline for the silver and the copper. Because of how much lead you need to purify, you can't have that give you a copper to silver monomer every product, but it gives you enough to save cycles.
I don't mind the decision here because yeah, I mean, obviously the tape loop still has to reset and stuff, but otherwise you're pulling lead every 2, and you're just using all this space here to just keep purifying up until you got a bonus copper silver to work with.
So this is pulling 7 quicksilver per output, but it also doesn't need any quicksilver from the tin chamber. So
yeah, right, because it's just...
This one's also probably a pain to work out the R value for.
Well, actually, it is just 14R, isn't it? Well, it would be without that reset.
Yeah, it's 14R with an odd one out. So
right,
the odd one
yeah.
out presumably reduces the 14R by some amount every product.
Yeah, so 14R-ish. Strictly under 14R, but it's 14R-ish.
I wonder if we're going to be seeing a lot more of that as we go down. Just with better ishes, closer to 12.
Alright. Moving on, we take a bit of a cycles drop down to 158 with Bambi. Who mentions 13 cycle loop accelerated. So, I think that means more shenanigans.
There's purifiers all over the place.
Yeah, 3 of them, wow.
That's an interesting product to sell. Piston 6.
It takes up a lot of space.
Oh, a lot of good dodging.
Yeah.
And overlapping the purifier that's not being used at that exact moment.
42 Dreamers 42 mentions the fact that there is no Fratelli on production puzzles.
Shame. Yeah.
Because, yeah, that is indeed a
Pretty good
fully
spot.
surrounded pod in the center, yeah.
Yeah, Critelli rejectors can rejoice this week.
Does that... That means these aren't Pelly brand cabinets, then.
I guess it doesn't, does it? Who makes the production chambers? Oh.
So yeah, anyway, this looks like just clean 6 Quicksilver per output, but there's a cycle of reset somewhere. I can't see where exactly. But yeah, it purifies 1 iron, or well, 2 iron every product.
Right, yeah, and here it's getting hidden away, and you get a bonus copper out of it, which is probably where the accelerated part comes in. Brother Mojo points out these could be cut. The production chambers might be custom made or something, or because they're mass producible. Food for thought.
Dude, I love... One of the big reasons I love production is floor. And also just chamber. There we go. No.
Sorry?
Mario dropped out of the call for a second.
Oh, okay.
Should be back now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, that's good.
Alright.
So did you figure out where the missing cycle was?
Oh, no, that is a good question. If I go to the end here. Yeah, it is the reset here. The Quicksilver is not being grabbed every 2 strictly.
Yeah, and then there are 12 outputs in the puzzle that costs 12 cycles, which might make a pretty big difference.
Alright. I might move on with that. Coming in 6th place, we go down 4 cycles to Team Not Jasper. Sorry?
6th place, it says 8th on the screen.
Sorry, I say 6th, I meant 7th.
Okay, just make sure it wasn't just like jank with Not Jasper being skipped.
No, it could, yeah, it will be Not Jasper. I'm curious to see what the it says on stream. So it just says Not Jasper twice. Thank you,
Okay,
very cool.
That's good.
Yeah, the Not Jasper with an asterisk really is just Mad Master. That's just how you pronounce Mad Master now, I guess.
12 cycle loop.
Very nice. Alright, this will be an easy one to digest. Nice.
Yeah,
We've got
a lot easier than the previous ones.
using full quicksilver and not all of the iron or lead.
No multi-bonders, just 4 single bonders. It's interesting.
I like that because I don't know. Maybe not in this for this puzzle, maybe not, but for other puzzles, multi-bonders in a production chamber is a bit of a red herring. Like they're never quite as useful as
you, right?
Sorry?
They're just so clunky, right? So...
Well, yeah, because like the shape kind of proves to be quite awkward for production chambers when you're trying to preserve space, and it's usually better to just like use a couple of single bonders. At least that's what I found. Though with this puzzle, you do have a pretty good reason to go for the multi-bonder, so yeah.
Because your tin just wants to bond twice the copper, and the multi-bonder is a perfect solution for that.
Yeah. Alright, so I think it's 2. Alright, so I think 5 iron are being grabbed per loop. 2 of them purified, 3 of them projected. If I'm reading it properly. This is nice. It's quite funny how this is less complicated than most of the souls we've seen to this point. But you can see why not Jasper referred to it as mediocre though, because it's not that simple. They're probably looking at this thinking surely there's like a trick.
Yeah, like there's a lot of. With all the bonders in the output chamber, there's a lot more space you could be doing with that in theory, but
yeah,
like it works. It's a 12-cycle loop.
It do work. Came in 7th, not half bad, honestly. All right, with that we will move to 6th place this time. Dropping down a single cycle. It's Mr. Puzzle.
Ooh, the single cycle shave was worth it.
Oh, you actually shaved the cycle, nice.
Yeah, I was assembling the product in a slightly different order and was running into I can't shove things through the conduit quite fast enough because it's blocked. And I shuffled some things around and got to
first output in the small chamber.
Oh hey! Alright, so
okay.
If anyone was wondering about the secret sauce, it's that you can build the cathode in the small chamber and just dedicate your large chamber purely to purification stuff.
Something a lot easier.
I have a lot of empty spaces, you can see. I did not put... I initially called it low effort solve, but then I put in a lot of effort to save a cycle. But I was like, 6-to-1 is probably the simplest ratio that I felt like doing this week.
But of course, it is worth noting that like you can see potential in this idea because there are like a bunch of hexes that are straight up not being used yet.
And I'm sure you could do some other interesting things like, for a hot second, I debated pulling things like, I'm going to have a bi-arm that moves quicksilver onto a projector at the same time as it pulls iron onto a purifier. And then I stopped that because holy smokes, I'm not gonna. That goes into big brain territory really quick. Not feel like going big brain this week, at least not in cycles. We'll see if I was big brain in BI or not.
Yeah, no, this solve looks a lot like my first 10R solve, where like it feels like you could do more, but to do more you need a redesign because it's pretty hard to get any odd one out pipeline with the space that's not used here, right?
Oh yeah, Yeah, because like there's space, but there's not that much space.
Yeah, like you can't do anything with the space around arm 4 without just changing where the lead input is.
But yeah, the reason, the reason I mentioned this being a powerful secret source idea, is backed up by what Fiesta Land says in chat, by this being able to go potentially as fast as 129 cycle solve or something. That's in theory, of course.
Wait, what? Min cycles was like 126. Small chamber can go as fast as 129 according to their team. Holy shit.
That's in theory.
I know, right?
That's impressive stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, that's min cycles in free space. Holy crap.
Yeah, like that's free above mid.
Absolutely
I'm curious to
wild.
see how Fiesta Land gets 129.
Oh.
Alright. We'll move on though. In 5th place we take another single cycle drop though, down to 152 with Ebenov.
Ooh.
And their arm support group.
Oh, large chamber assembly.
Yeah, I think it's referring to the all the pistons surrounding the supporting the Quicksilver.
That looks familiar because you need to put the Quicksilver in a lot of different places, right? So,
Oh, here's the metal ring assembly. Oh,
I never considered this, but this is like slick.
oh, that's gorgeous.
It doesn't take up that much space, and you get a lot of like chances to purify to project here. It's super nice.
Oh, it's also really good for latency because like Quicksilver is limiting, and you don't have to ever pass Quicksilver through a conduit. So.
Arm 10 just grabs that iron and just goes, "Whoop." There it is. And then gives a little pivot right at the end. Oh.
Seeing all these arms surround a single atom reagent like this reminds me of when I was trying to toy around with universal compound sum, and you just end up needing to like have all your arms surrounding the reagent like that, just constantly moving them in like different directions.
Oh, I just noticed that there's that piston with the Quicksilver that does a quick little dance, so then 10 can pivot. Yeah, because that would crash otherwise.
Yeah, right. And it works out just fine because it will project on the same cycle as the next Quicksilver that gets pulled anyway.
So good.
That's this production strategy is that's probably worth the cycle saved over yours anyway, Mr. Puzzle. That was
Oh yeah. This is well done.
Yeah, squeaked in a top 5 quite nicely. Alright. Moving on though, we have a host solve by Haxton. Coming at the same cycle count, but at a better cost.
Nice.
Objectively better cost.
Oh, there's the oh. Okay, there's arm 1 doing the grab spin
that thing.
onto the bolt.
That one before.
But I would argue the setup for arm 1 here is better because when we saw that earlier with Cuckoo 52 solve, you drop the copper and the silver in one way, but then you have to drop it in reversed in order for the bonding to work right.
Yeah.
Whereas here, you just project differently.
Oh yeah, right. I had issues, with the metal monomer being the wrong way round. And if you project before you do that, then it's an issue. But if you just bring it round afterwards, yeah, this works.
And it works super nicely for that idea, because you end up just doing like, you project the iron twice and you just don't have to touch the copper here, and you can just like, because it's that silver here is the first one, like you got a bit of time to do a couple of projections instead of one, and then for the second one, you still need to do 2 projections, but it's just 1 each this time. And the multi-bonder gets activated on all 3 prongs at the same cycle, which is never not good. Interesting to note there's still free space here though. In both chambers. Fair amount of free space. With that, we shall move on though. And in 4th place, the cycle count does take a drop. We go down to 143 with Spiritual Shampoo.
So this is below 12R. Well done.
Yep. So we've been talking about 12R being like the natural, like, kind of stopping point, but this is past that.
At the cost of 1,061 insight. That is a, I know where this is going.
I saved 3 cycles, but at what cost? What do you mean at what cost? At what instructions? Holy crap!
Hang on, this implies that they had a 146 that was presumably 2P or something, 2P per tape loop, which is cleaner.
See, it's a full 12p tape loop here.
Yeah.
God damn it.
That's a long track shared
Jeez.
by...
Very instructive.
Instructive, yes. That is one of the adjectives I would use for this solve.
Okay, so we are... wait a minute. 8...
So we're seeing some extra tin being thrown into the conduit to be projected to silver for one of the prongs. Also, I do like how Quicksilver just kind of gets stored on that hex, just for a while, until it's needed for the actual product.
That gives you swing space. Yep.
Or in this case, translation space.
Well, I mean, like, not a ton of other places to store the Quicksilver until, because like the tin swings in, covers quite a lot of ground.
It does,
Copper
yeah.
and silver, and they need to shuffle around a bit before they're bonded together and retracted back far enough for the Quicksilver to bond.
Also,
So storing Quicksilver was an issue I found a lot for trying to get below 12R, because you're no longer just using it as soon as you grab it every time.
those length 3 swings on the tin look very scary.
Yeah. Just noticed those.
Dun-dun.
But yeah, essentially this is just this is an 11R steady state that's just been programmed all the way out to 12p to save like 3 cycles of latency.
Oh, so that's why Shirokandra is saying the length 3 swing on the first tin is impossible on the first tin because it comes out 1 cycle later than usual. So
Right, so here. Right, you can't, because otherwise you
Yeah,
collide with the
okay.
incoming copper. Right, so the first one gets delayed a bit. But that's okay, as long as you program it out to 12p.
Yep, saves 3 cycles. Worth it, right?
Alright. This is a super nice solve. We will move on to our top 3 though. Coming in at 141 cycles, we have Username Void.
Congratulations. Yep, fast.
This is indeed fast.
It do be
Yeah.
fast.
That's a lot of empty space for an presumably 11R solve.
Yeah, I think this is, well...
Oh yeah, this is just 2p.
6, 6, 4, and 6 is 20.
Yeah, this is...
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, just clean 2p. Wow. I did not realize you could get it this clean.
I like the, I do like the way the cathode is bonded together here.
Yep. Because that also helps avoid the how do I reverse the copper and the silver at the conduit? And the answer is don't.
Yep.
Oh, I tell you what, I think there was a way to 12p this to save a single cycle.
Have a look. Where do you think it is?
So it's here because there's a regrab here on the very last cycle before the cathode gets sent up into the
Yep.
output. Instead of a regrab, you could just use arm 13. You could like put a track up here and then have arm 13 go up that track for the very last product.
Huh.
Yeah, that should work. Yeah, because 16's already up there.
I know, that would
Keep
just
it
work.
there.
Yeah, there's no reason it wouldn't. 1 cycle.
Yeah. Anyway, coming in second place by 1 cycle.
Oh, how much gold? How much gold though?
Yeah, did the gold matter?
much gold?
It was actually cheaper. Username Void will be very relieved to hear this one was 105 gold cheaper. Team Fiesta Land coming in at 140.
I will not purify
Not
tin.
pure-
Okay.
This looks familiar. I will not purify tin. Wait, hang on, that looks like tin is being purified.
It's purifying lead.
No, it's purifying tin,
Wait, oh yeah,
tin,
lead
but
is
not
not
past tin.
Yeah. So this is the exact thing I had for 11R as well. Where you get what? For every 3 iron, 2 are purified and 1 gets projected to give you a monomer.
Yeah, and you just... Yeah, and you make up for that with an extra projection, essentially.
Yeah. Because that only needs 2 Quicksilver, and you get 3 of them in 6 cycles, so you can do whatever you want with the remaining Quicksilver, which in this case is used to purify, or project tin.
So they mentioned they initially built this as a 6-to-1, but then they found they just like had a bunch of spare room in the left chamber, and they were able to bump it up to an 11-to-2, and they didn't have to change much at all in the right chamber.
Nice.
It's a really nice right chamber though. I really like the way projection here is handled.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me seeing all of these like slick output and projection was because I never considered just having the output in the big chamber. Basically, as soon as I found output small. But yeah, no, this Quicksilver. Like storing this Quicksilver is like, yeah, there's like it doesn't look like there's anything bad there. It's just clean.
It is a good, this idea of just using a Tintin bond at one point, Tintin, it lets you pull, that extra iron, so your iron reagent's not sitting there for a couple cycles doing nothing, and you just make up for it with extra projections later on. It's a really clean way to get that 11-to-2 ratio. But essentially, yeah, this is very... R-Mate's also very nice in how it outputs, which is probably where that extra cycle comes from compared to using voids. There's no re-grabbing shenanigans or anything like that.
Yep,
which seems to suggest that getting under this requires a different rate. And with that, we will move on to first place. It was a comfortable win by 6 cycles, Moriconda.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is 10.5R.
It's also
or I think
690 cost, 1469 instructions. A worthy victor.
yeah.
Right, so this is the power of the secret sauce, right?
Yeah, like I found this and I'm like, well, why would I ever have the output in the big chamber when I can just have the output in the small chamber?
That assembly is really smooth.
Yeah, so that can handle just at conduit throughput. Like that can handle an output every 9 if it were possible.
Oh, that's insane. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and this purifies tin. So yeah, so this, like, my first version of this, basically just pretend this doesn't purify any of the lead, and that's a 12R solve. So all of the stuff below the top half of the second chamber is the odd one out pipeline to get the, well, purify and project stuff to get an extra monomer.
So yeah, this solves really, what I really like about this is that, like, you essentially have completely different, you essentially got 2 pipelines at work here. You got the iron pipeline and the lead pipeline, and the iron pipeline just continues uninterrupted. It's just...
Yeah, the iron pipeline just every 6, right?
Yeah, it's just, 2 of the iron get purified, 1 gets projected, and that continues uninterrupted. And the projected one is the one that is copper, and the purified one is the one that is silver, because then you only need to project each once. And that's just uninterrupted. That'll just keep going forever. It's the lead pipeline where things get really, like, interesting as far as the rate is concerned, because it does make tin and, you know, the requisite quicksilver to get that Brazing cathode shape. But it also just, like, keeps going with the tin until it, like, sneaks out an extra silver copper shape. Calling it a monomer feels weird. I haven't been calling it a monomer, but yeah,
Yeah,
you get
like
an
I wasn't
extra one in.
I wasn't sure what to call it. Like I just called it metal, but
Component.
the whole output is metal.
And you get to sneak in that extra component with purification and projection, because we did see that earlier in Caliorasis, having them sneak through that extra component through projection, but here through purification. But here it is done also with projection, using just a couple of spare quicksilver. Like once every while, you get a spare quicksilver, because this iron
because the
pipeline doesn't use all the quicksilver.
Pipeline.
Sorry.
Yeah, the iron pipeline uses 2 quicksilver every 6 cycles, which gives me an extra quicksilver every 3. And that's enough to make an odd one out pipeline, essentially. So over the course of 12p, the odd one out pipeline outputs 3 things, whatever, to get the extra 1.5 bar down. It's 3 kind of half products. I'm not sure how it works. Yeah.
Can I also say that track in the top left corner of the right pipeline is really slick.
Yeah, some of that was secondary because I needed to get the secondary down. Arm 11 can just be a piston, which is what it was before I realized you can put Arm 12 there.
You did get the cost down to 690, so like, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, no, like,
100%
I was
worth
expecting this to be a lot harder to work, but because it's just on a 6-cycle loop, it just happened to work perfectly. I didn't have to do any shenanigans with dodging.
Well, what's really nice, and especially with how you've got this left chamber set up, is that like the order in which the components come in can just be varied. So sometimes you got the tin. So sometimes you got reactive tin coming in first. Sometimes you've got it coming in like second, and you can just like vary it depending on the needs of your pipelines.
Yeah, that was actually necessary because the reactive tin can't come in last, I think, because otherwise, well, if you have the 2 metal stuff in, you can't swing the tin in. But it can come in second and it can come in first, which gives a lot of flexibility on when I put the odd one out pipeline to give an input.
Which is like an absolute godsend to your lead pipeline, because yeah, that's where it will. Yeah. And that's where it will change which order the components come in. This is super nice. I thought more people were gonna toy around with this building the cathode in the small chamber.
I did that pretty immediately because well, this output fits in the small chamber, and you can also fit a bonder in there. And it took a few tries, and then I found this. So I was surprised to see it be secret source, but that's how secret source works.
Well, I guess, as Fiestalane pointed out in chat, I think the real trick here was not just that, like, yeah, this is helpful, but it's not just the cathode in the left chamber, it's also the fact that you're able to squeeze 2 entirely separate pipelines into the right chamber, and that's where, that's where the space management gets really tight, and that's where it's complicated. And that's where you're saving all those extra cycles, because you need that entirely second pipeline for the lead here to make this rate work.
Oh yeah, getting this to work with 1 bonder was hard, because you have to basically have min latency whenever you're putting anything on the bonder, otherwise it's can't handle every 3. So I guess you'll see with ARM 12.
I really like this handoff between arms 1 and 2. To get that copper silver component into the conduit.
Yeah, because purifying is 3 latency, whereas just adding a second, getting another input is 2 latency, which gives you a time to regrab.
Yeah, I also noticed in a previous version of this, you called it practical min, and I'm inclined to agree that this is practical min for cycles.
Yeah, like, basically to get below this, you would either have to reduce latency, which is, well, the only bad latency here is bonding twice, but I'm not sure how you get the final bond with a multi-bonder. Like, you would have to get in the reactive tin straight onto the multi-bonder and then straight out.
Well, yeah, a huge problem would be like, how do you get...
Yeah.
Because an important part of this being able to work at this rate is that you bond before throwing the component in the conduit. And to, like, think about bonding after you throw it in the conduit, that seems very... Yeah, that doesn't seem very practical, just looking at this.
Yeah, because this is n equals 62, L equals 9, because there's project, conduit, bond twice, and what's the last one? Purify. That adds up to 9, I think. Because the pivot to output is really nice.
People are trying to come up with names for the copper silver in chat.
Yeah, that would be convenient.
There isn't really a natural, because copper silver isn't like a natural alloy in 50/50. I might go ahead with sterling silver. That sounds kind of nice. So we'll go ahead and call it
I get the feeling the sterling silver might be reused in VI, so...
Yeah, we'll keep that name in mind. We'll just go with sterling silver and reactive tin. Alright, this is a really cool, worthy winning solve. Thank you for submitting it, Morikunda.
Oh, my pleasure. This was fun. Like, I found this fun probably because I found the output chamber. Like, everyone else was complaining about this so much, and I'm like, well, I mean, I guess if you don't have enough space, then yeah.
That was... honest. That was kind of, maybe not directly consciously, but that was kind of the reason the chambers are as big as they are, because, like, the reason we expand, like, the reason the chambers were, because the chambers used to be smaller, and we expanded them because, like, literally to make sure cycles was interesting. I don't know if that consciously meant secret source stuff involving the Brazing Cathode being able to be constructed in the left chamber, but that was like kind of that was the direction I wanted to take cycles, like bigger to make the primary lower and the puzzle more interesting. Alright.
Yeah, and you succeeded. It was pretty interesting how people got below 12R.
Yeah, it was.
And even below 14R.
Yeah, all the different pure ejection routes, I think, made it quite interesting. I'm honestly happy with how that turned out. That brings us to VI, though. So this one got a lot more attention. We're gonna start at 21st place with Jason, we're already on 0. So yeah, 0 primary was managed by everyone who submitted for
Why
VI.
Is there track?
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of track.
Check out the cost flex.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, that doesn't.
Maximum cost.
There we go.
Everyone wins. I was curious. I was curious why Jason said that they were hoping they had primary VI because
yeah,
because you can't go better than 0. So
if you place a reset instruction, it counts as -1.
I don't even go there.
I do want to see an assembly instructions primary metric sometime, someplace.
Assembly instructions?
Right.
You have that OMV and OMC count as 1.
Right. And technically override would count as 1. But yeah. I would like to see that. Yes, excellent trolling. Totally had me.
The only problem with that idea is that it encourages resetting, and that would hurt my everything. That would hurt my being.
But it also incentivizes repeats.
It does. That is where it gets interesting, though. The repeats. I like the idea, though.
Oh yeah, what does this do? Oh yeah, hang on. That's some really cute input suppression to get the lead out. I just realized the lead is completely surrounded.
Alright, so this is 1P. Getting the cathode bonded together in this way looks like it took a lot of figuring out, so honestly, well done.
Yeah, that looks like the assembly method of someone who did the first chamber first, and then was like, okay, I'll stick arms in the second chamber until it works. Like, this, like, it doesn't feel like this was planned out. It Still great, but that's a lot of handoffs.
Looking at all the handoffs reminds me of last year's production puzzle and the a lot more intensive VI puzzle that was. Usually mandated handoffs like this a lot more.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at that one. That one, like, half the people didn't get 0 VI because it was just that hard.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, like players as good as Biggie and Shadow Cluster weren't able to get a 0. Puzzle hard. It was a really good puzzle though. I honestly think it might be one of the most underrated of the weekly puzzles last year. Especially considering when we recorded it, when Bisp recorded it, she forgot to actually she forgot to actually save the recording, so we had to re-record it. That was a bit of a tragedy. Alright. So, moving onwards to 20th place, we take a bit of a dive down from 174 to 111 instructions with Topo Mouse.
That's a lot of repeats, so I guess this is where we might start talking about getting below 1p.
Yeah, getting below 1p is... it's not obvious for this puzzle at all. Because it's not like...
You can see how... Go on, sorry.
Sorry, because you have like... The only repeating component really is that you got 2 sterling silvers, and that's kind of all you have to work with. Then you have to worry about the reactive tin completely separately. So getting it below 1p, yeah. Is not an obviously repeating shape to work with, like in like for alchemical jewel, for example. That would be a lot easier to make 1/6p.
But you can see how many instructions it saves. Like, even if you can just get this down to a half p, you shave like 16 instructions just off arm 1. Right?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I don't know. It's not. Yeah, I don't know. I like the unique secondary challenge of just like instructions, but you're not allowed pivots or pistons or tracks or anything like that. Cause cause I thought we could like focus on secondary optimization a bit more, but I don't know. Focusing on instructions here in particular felt like a unique challenge. Because you have to worry about, like, do you just project everything, or can you make purification useful in a way that will cut your instruction count overall? And how exactly do you get the Brazing Cathode bonder together? What's the best way to do that? Alright, so moving onwards, in 19th place we have Alienate Me. Judging by the length of the tape loop, I'm gonna go ahead and guess this is still 1p.
Yeah, so the main challenge of getting below 1p is how do you assemble the output? Because this here, like, this output assembly seems like it'd be pretty hard to do with less than 1p, which is how irregular it is.
And I guess the other challenge is that, like, at least looking at it, constructing it at 1p seems quite... It seems quite nice and convenient to do. So you have to kind of fight against that.
Yeah, like, my first solve was like, okay, I think this is possible with 0 vintage instructions, let's just make a solve, and it ended up at like 140 or something, but it worked, and I'm like, okay, so you can probably get 0 vintage instructions, how do I get this below 1p, was the next thing I tried to do. And it involved a complete redesign.
Yeah, Fiesta in chat quite nicely points out what one might consider the most straightforward way of getting to half p or a fractional p, which is that like a half p solve would necessarily make one of the sterling silvers every time, and the trick is to find a way to make the reactive tin half of the time. And with that, you can already think about using like tri-arms to grab every second tape loop and stuff like that. This is really nice though. I like how the cathode snaps together in the end. Also, kind of interesting how he seems to have plenty of space for VI. I don't think many people really struggled with having enough space with it at all.
I kinda did, but that's because you have to swing the output, you can't pivot the output, and that takes up a lot of space. But this one does it pretty cleanly, like there's pretty much the entire top of the chamber is unused.
Alright. And moving on to 18th place, the instruction count takes a drop to 74 with random guess.
Also 1p, but with lots of hex arms and multi-arms. Oh, this is the whole metal. Yeah, this might be the most efficient way to do a 1p solve. Because you just have one hexarm doing the entire building of the molecule.
Yeah, like you can get pretty low with 1p, honestly. Oh, okay, people mention the space limitation really comes to bite back at you if you actually try and aim for lower than 1p. That's a fair point.
Yeah, stuff,
Yeah, I found
stuff
that
gets
too.
tight. Yep. Yep.
And part of the reason for that, interestingly, is that when you're using wheel arms in a production chamber, you don't have as much space as you think you do when it comes to placing the arms themselves, because you can't put them, like, the entire edge of the chamber is just not accessible to an arm that, like, was a multi-arm, and you might need a multi-arm for the sake of, like, counting to 3 or counting to 2 or something like that.
Right. And even if you decide to stick with single arms, you still need the same space as a hex arm if you want to do 1 every 6.
Yeah, exactly.
So it gets really cramped. And also, because everything's really cramped, you have to avoid grabbing other people's things.
Other people's things. Like, hey, it's my atom. Get your own.
Simulation, I wanted to grab this. No. Stop. Error. Fix it.
That really annoying clonking sound.
Kerchunk.
There we go. The ka-chunk. Alright. Alright, moving on to 17th place. We go down to 70 instructions with Feindeer. Another simple 0.
So, Dojaja was asking in chat, did 12 products have anything to do with this metric, or was that just purely for cycles?
it was mainly for cycles, but the thought did enter my mind that waste storage is kind of not something I would want to encourage. So, yeah, it was mainly for cycles, but I did take note of that when I was increasing the product count to 12 as, yeah, something that was a good thing. As far as, from a puzzle design perspective, I considered it a good thing.
So yeah, this is more or less the same thing, but slightly more efficient.
Essentially, yeah. It do be simple. I'm curious, because I don't exactly have all the P counts like stored in my head or anything, so I can't remember, so I'm interested to see what the lowest 1P solve is going to be.
It might be lower than my not 1P solve, I think.
Alright, in 16th place we move down to 64 instructions with Ebenov, who mentions a worryingly high instruction count. One thing that always gets me
Okay, this
tripped
is
up...
not 1P.
No, it is not, actually. One thing that always gets me tripped up for, like, instruction metrics for production is that you never have a good sense of what is a low instruction count. Or at least I never feel like I do. Maybe if you ask Rebix or Pentapig, they can mention having a good feel for a low instruction count in production, but I never do.
Oh, I see. Okay. I was confused how ARM 4 wasn't loading a Quicksilver every time onto the bonder, but the first Quicksilver goes on the bonder, the second Quicksilver is consumed on the way out.
Yeah, it's actually quite nice, this conditional up the top here. Because, yeah, ARM 2 will put one Quicksilver on this top projector per tape loop. And it'll get consumed if ARM 3 swings across. But if ARM 3 does not swing across with the lead, it'll sit there until ARM 4 grabs it. And it's kind of nice, because they're kind of... the conditional, they kind of rely on each other to work in a really nice way. I see Biggie mentioning that, I think for this solve, he's mentioning it's unfortunate that the reactive tin comes here the way it does, I believe. Because then you do have to do this, like, bonus grab.
Oh yeah, it's backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, with this one, if you have a backwards, two atom thing, it's a lot harder to fix when you can't just pivot.
Yeah, because then you have to do janky VI regrabs and stuff. Though I do always like janky VI regrabs. Alright. With that, we shall continue. Dropping down to 59 instructions, we have Brother Mojo with Jank.
Looks like 1/2 P.
Oh, you can do this a half P. Huh. Well, oh yeah, of course, because ARM 5 is doing some magic.
Yeah, this and the last one were both half P. Yeah.
P can go quite a bit lower than half. So we'll see that later.
I did see a couple of people in chat earlier mentioning trying to aim for 1/6 P. That could be a number worth keeping in mind. There are 6 atoms on the cathode.
Is it possible to do quarter P with only vintage instructions?
Probably, right? Because you just grab something every two.
In free space
Right.
you could, because you can do counting with atoms. I don't know if that's as viable here.
Quarter
Yeah, I
P.
guess you'd have to have something like just a hexarm with grab, rotate, drop that conditionally bonds. Would probably not be worth it.
You'd have to what would you have to make sterling silver every second loop and a reactive tin every 4th loop?
Yeah, so the idea I'm thinking of is you make 4 copper, half the time you project it, and then 1/4 of the time you get a tin and a quicksilver somehow.
Yeah. The other thing you could do is make too much reactive tin and just have a hexarm continually grab dropping it and bonding it to the output, but I don't think there's enough space.
I think the painful part of that idea, at least for me, is the making reactive tin once every 4 loops, because counting to 4 with just VI instructions sounds really hard. Because you could you did alright, let me just I'll put all this back in, but you'd have to have a hexarm like this and and just like last week you had a handoff which makes the counting to 6 go down to counting to 5, except you have 2 of them and make them count down to 4, and that seems rather intensive. I do like the grab drop that Omphor has to do to get the sterling silver back through the conduit before it does anything else. Alright. Moving on to 14th place. We go down to 56 instructions with spiritual shampoo. Vrackless instructions.
Oh, hey, a purifier. Okay, this looks... No, this doesn't look familiar, never mind.
Couple purifiers.
Yeah. So the purifiers from the small chamber output 2 copper and 1 tin.
The conditional holding on to the quicksilver is quite nice. Because that's purely to get the copper up to silver, and that part is conditional, so that just means you can handle the left side. It just spits out copper every time, and some of the copper doesn't even need to be processed because you got the nice bonding strategy. Pretty clean, all things considered, honestly.
Yeah, I guess how would you try and save instructions? Like, where do you think the instruction save is in this? So maybe a couple solves down the line?
That's a fair question. I would say, because this is half P, which is fairly competitive. I guess one of the main things is trying to find a 1/6p solve. The other here is probably lies in the fact that there are 10 arms. Maybe there's a way you try and find a way to like handle the left chamber or something in less arms, or just like less grab drops, because arm 1 has 12 instructions alone, which seems like quite a few. Arm 5 having a lot of instructions does make sense though, so yeah.
Yeah, I think Arm 5 is what forces half P, because it doesn't work at less than half P.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't really change Arm 5 here without changing the entire solve. So I guess I would suggest either look at the left chamber, see what you can find there, or try and see if you can find a 1/6p idea. We shall keep marching onward though. Coming in at 55 instructions is username void. Interestingly, we do have a bit of a logjam in the 50s here. Just to give you all a heads up. So yeah, the instruction count will not be dropping very quickly for a while.
Yeah, so this appears to be like the half P block. No, this is not half P. Is it?
I think it is.
Oh, it is, yeah, so this might be where half B kind of hits a wall. Minimum number of instructions.
Yeah, this is half P. Very quick though, actually. It's only on a 10
yeah, that's why I thought
cycle tape.
Why I thought it wasn't half P, because it's 10 instructions. How could it be half P? But no, it's an output every 20 or something like that.
I must say, I do like the way the sterling silver is brought down and constructed. Like the way Arm 5 swings the sterling silver across to get it bonded on to the rest of it. Yeah, construction's handled very nicely here. But yeah, we'll move on, see how else this plays out. Coming in 12th place, down to 53 instructions, we have John John.
Mentioning this is their first ever production puzzle solve. It's pretty good.
Nice.
Or first production instruction solve rather, because yeah, solving for instructions is not like anything else in the campaign.
John John, I believe, was the person who came second in Stabilized Gold RI last week. They've got some real chops.
So we see this recurring pattern of how the iron is promoted. With one arm going twice, with the quicksilver arm going twice as fast as the iron arm.
I quite like how the sterling silver is handled it's an output conditional here. So here, if it doesn't output, then 2 will grab it and put it so that it goes onto the blonder. And if it's a fully completed cathode, it'll just drop in. So that's quite a nice conditional. Also cheeky how the tin gets dropped through the conduit to be bonded to quicksilver and then back through the conduit.
Oh wow, I didn't even notice that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it happens really quickly.
I like the assembly of the pieces in this one. Just that rotation over to the multi-bonder.
Yeah, it makes things really simple. It's a lot easier than whatever I tried. It's just a bunch of arms rotating clockwise.
Oh, I just noticed that it first puts it on the right side, and then arm 1 tries to output it, and then if it fails, it just sticks it on the other side. That's real
Wow,
slick.
yeah. Arm 1 is reused for 2 completely different processes, essentially.
Yeah, that was the output conditional. I was mentioning earlier, it's super slick. Because yeah, you're not actually, yeah, there's no like superfluous movement about it. It's just a conditionally handled movement. There's a lot of cool tech in this solve. Yeah, alright, props to John for putting that one together. Moving on to 11th place, we go down to 52 instructions with Team Not Jasper, who outlines their solution progress in the solve name.
This is nice. They mentioned 16T. Is this 16T?
I believe it is.
Yeah, this looks like it is.
We have our first 16T solve.
Yep. Ooh, that's a
Yep,
fun
so that-
product assembly. Look at our mate there, wiggling around.
Just wiggling, yep.
I think the wiggles, if I remember correctly, had something to do with the reactive tin. I do like the way Arm 10 hands off its promoted tin to Arm 9. You do see, the wiggling does kind of hurt though, because yeah, there are a lot of conditionals at play here. The Arm 4 conditional here is super nice, how it counts to 3, because you only need to count to 3, because yeah, you need 2 copper and 1 iron, so yeah, you need 2 copper for the silver and 1 copper for the actual sterling silver.
Yeah, so not just will I ask them, but not just mentioning that there's 21 instructions used in the left chamber, which leaves 31 for the right. Because yeah, this
Oh, okay.
right chamber is pretty complicated. A lot of stuff going on.
I guess this makes an interesting point about production instructions, if not instructions in general. Although I do think it's mostly a production instructions thing. Although area instructions also has this, where you can kind of overshoot the P depending on how you've designed it. Which I'm not trying to say 1/6 P is overshooting it, but like for this particular solve, there's like a lot of conditionals, and the conditionals themselves kind of bloat your instruction count more than you might be expecting to, as compared to like a relatively elegant but higher P solve.
I just noticed rotating that cradle that just works through 3 arms. Goes between 5, 6, and 7. Cool.
Yeah. That kind of That essentially flips it around, I think, that movement, if I'm not mistaken. Arms 9 and 10 here are really cool though. I do like those in particular.
You might be seeing those again later. Those look familiar.
Yeah, possibly. Alright.
It's why 1/6B is not
Yeah, it's
terrible.
what makes 1/6B so good that you can just have those to work.
Yeah, you got stuff like
Well-
this.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that 6 copper you can purify to 2 silver and 2 copper. So you get 6 of those, and then 2 of the quicksilver and 1 of the lead.
Yeah, in theory, it's super nice. So, keep an eye out for it later. We will move on, though, to the top 10. Coming down to 51 instructions, we have Cuckoo 52.
Ooh. Another dishonorable undershoot. To use Biggie's words.
It is. You could have had 52. Oh well. Alright, I'm gonna ask. Who do people think are in the top 3?
If
I'm gonna take a stab in the dark, and I'm gonna guess that Team 42 has pulled out a miracle.
Team 42? That's an interesting guess.
If they got 42 instructions, they'll be in a good chance.
unless we get a bunch of drops all of a sudden, I'm thinking I might be up there.
Alright, this solved though. I believe it's half. So we're back up to half P. There's honestly not that. It's remarkably little bloat here. The only really unfortunate conditional here is how the arm 8 wiggle, just to prevent a dodge regrab. But other than that, everything works out super nicely here.
Yeah, I can't see where you would say instructions using the same method. It's just clean. Can arm 1 not just be a 3 arm? I see there's a reset cycle. Or like a 2 arm.
Yeah, a 2-arm possibly, but yeah, I think the trouble with the multi-arm is how much. Oh, alright, if we. Yeah, sorry, it'd have to be a 3-arm. So you can make it a 3-arm, but it wouldn't save any instructions. Actually, funnily enough.
Oh yeah, because you need to grab every 2.
So I think, I think I can just straight up go ahead and, do this.
Yeah, it doesn't actually save anything, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing, there's no, no actual instruction saving on that. Alright, so interesting shaves here. We're not seeing any one method kind of break through as yeah, this has clearly been done way better and should have been considered or anything like that. I don't know, the secondary exists in this weird design space. Doesn't appear to be at all obvious where to aim for and how to do it. Moving on to 9th place, we stay at 51 instructions with Caluresis, who got it in 140G.
Wait.
140G? That's cheap. What? What?
One
That's enough
chamber
space to do
solve, everybody. One chamber solve.
Wow.
It's also, if I'm not mistaken, 1p.
Oh, wait. You skipped past the fun part. Go back. Suppression.
Oh.
Wait, is this 1p? What?
Yeah,
It's
this
just-
is 1p.
It's just a
It's
1p
one-
solve and you 51 instructions.
It's just better. It's 1p. That's slick input suppression. One chamber solve. That
You just-
saves you a whole bunch because you don't have to re-grab from the
Yeah.
conduit. Drop into
I
it.
did not consider this. This is
Oh,
fun.
that's good. That's so good.
Why use conduit when wheel arm do trick? Yeah, I like it. Just regrabs and conditionals are for losers. Just 1p it. It was good enough to sneak in the top 10.
Just built better, guys. Oh, that's so good.
just,
Caluresis is coming in strong. Good work.
Just build it, guys. Just, yeah, easy.
What?
They mentioned it being that just a low effort backup solve because yeah, this doesn't look particularly high effort.
So yeah, Caluresis, I do remember mentioning a few times, was trying to get a 1/6p solve and was very close to getting it, but just it never quite came together. Just yeah, then they were stuck with this, and they're like, oh whatever, all right, this will be the backup low effort. Let's just all right. But they were aiming for a 1/6p solve. But yeah, this is it. Hey, it still came in 9. Sorry, yeah, 9. Alright. Well, this is a remarkably simple solve, so we will move on. Coming in 8th place, at 50 instructions, we have Irrational Guy. Alright, so then we're back down to half P. If I'm not mistaken, we've seen this exact same left chamber before, in like a different orientation.
Arm 2 is doing a lot of stuff. Feels like... Oh no, it's just doing the same thing as before, but it has to rotate a lot of times.
Yeah, I think it just rotates a lot because on the second loop, it like needs to do all those rotates to get the all the bonds on. Other than Arm 2, not much bloat on the instruction count though, which is quite nice. So Arm 8 there's a cute grab drop here. No wait, on the next tape loop. So there's a cute grab drop here to stop Arm 2 from messing it up and to reorient the copper.
Arm 4 is also reused in outputting, which is cute.
Irrational Guy mentions conditional hold on ARM 8 in the Discord. I think it's conditional hold on, yep, on that copper, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's the one I was mentioning, but the stream delay kind of makes it not very, it doesn't flow very naturally. These tangents that I go on where I'm like using visual demonstrations, they tend to make a lot more sense when you're watching the video back. And then suddenly like my key actions are actually keeping up with my voice.
Yep. I do always wonder how weird my commentary is because I listen through the Discord, but I watch on the Twitch.
I mean, yeah, that's
And
what
yeah,
all of us are doing, right? So we're 5 seconds behind, but not actually, because we're talking to Zorflax in real time. Kind of weird.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I think it works out okay, because it's like, by the time you guys make a point, it was already shown on the screen, so it's like you never say anything that doesn't make sense. It's a bit of a shame that they needed Arm 3 to drop the output, because it just barely doesn't work out dropping it right there, because one of the silver atoms clips the bonder.
Yeah.
Because you might be able to think about doing like another grab drop, but that's 3 instructions anyway, and you just have Arm 3 do those 3 instructions, and it's, yeah. Bit of a design sad. But, nevertheless, it is time to move on. In 7th place, also at 50 instructions, but 150G, we have Bambi.
With a
Is this
one
another
piece solve, I
one-piece
bet.
solve?
In one
Yeah.
chamber.
1 chamber, 1 P. You betcha.
And doesn't even use half. Actually, no, probably uses it on outputting, but
It just swings through all that.
wow.
Nice. Like a spaceship. Nyeow.
Yeah, so this instruction solve is likely just not having a regrab with that fluid motion.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing as Calioresis is, really. Just slightly slicker. Also, even more slightly slicker is 6th place at 50 instructions. 140G is Goodbye Galaxy. And then this one actually is different, but it is still 1P.
Oh, there we are. I was wondering when the big boy hex arm would show up. Not for the use I was thinking of, though, but... Oh, wait. Oh.
There's a cool handoff here between Arms 2 and 3. So Arm 2 gets the Quicksilver on, and then rotates it. And then Arm 3 rotates it off to hand off back to Arm 2.
This looks like a sum solve, which is on brand for Goodbye Galaxy. Like,
That's
cheap,
some
fast,
4
and uses
experience
both.
coming in handy.
Cheap, fast, and uses the entire tape loop sun energy.
I'm guessing you can't have Arm 2 pull the molecule off because geometry doesn't work quite right and it bonks into 1.
You mean if it just, like, did 2 rotate? Nah, I don't think that quite works. Although... So what if I, like... Wait. I mean, did that. Nah, it just collides into Arm 1. That's why. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of... Wait, why doesn't it just output there? Oh, right, because that's, oh, that doesn't just... It can just output there, but Arm 2, like, you'd need, like...
Well, then delay the tape loop. Cycles doesn't matter.
Right, you can do that, but it doesn't look as cool, so... It's a fair... it's fair enough. Sorry?
Like, it's still 50 instructions.
Oh, okay. Don't save instructions.
No, yeah, because
Yeah.
the final grab drop happens, like, at the beginning of the tape loop.
Facet. Doesn't save any I. So you go for cool. Rule of cool.
The rule of cool has been adequately followed here. Alright. I think that was the last 1P solve. So, congratulations, Goodbye Galaxy, for getting the best 1P solve. In 5th place, we do finally take an instruction drop down to 44. It is Morokonda.
Ooh.
That's a drop.
Not Metal Chaos.
Yeah. So this is a similar first chamber to Hallow Jasper, where I make the silver, whatever it was, 160, and then the output chamber is slick, I guess. Got it mostly by trial and error, so can't tell you how I made it.
Alright, so I could be wrong. I hope I'm not, but I think all the solves from here on out are 1/6p. So yeah, we have. So we talked about the 1p and half p ideas hitting a wall, and we are officially below that wall.
Yeah, so the reason I asked Hallow Jasper for their instruction count is their left chamber does exactly the same thing as mine in 4 less instructions.
Oh!
So there is... This would be 40 if me and Hallow Jasper had formed a team.
Team, which is not Mora Jasper.
Yeah. And also there's a pretty sad regrab for ARM 6 because the product is not ready in time, so if you move everything from ARM 6 below rightwards 4 instructions, you'd be able to get rid of the regrab on ARM 6, but you can't with the timing.
Oh, I think I say it. Yeah, that's a sad.
Because the output, the Quicksilver and lead need 3 tape loops to get ready, and so the regrab is there because otherwise it would only have 2. So that would have got down to 42 instructions had I been able to do it.
There is very obviously potential here, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was your process for VI? You mentioned it just being trial and error.
Yeah, so basically the first thing I did is try to emulate my cycle solve with using projecting just everything, and that didn't work because there's not enough space. So then I decided, well, okay, I can just make the repeated thing with just purification, and I tried to do that in one chamber to give me as much space as possible in the second chamber, which resulted in the mess that is the left chamber. Because yeah, I saw the possibility of if you have 1/6p, then you can do arms 8 and 9, and arms 8 and 9 are really good.
It is nicely 1/6 though. Paid though. Gotta get used to using the letter P.
Yeah. And this would work 1/12t if you could have ARM 9 somehow grab the lead every 12. But since you can't, you have to put 4 extra instructions on ARM 1.
Gee, that would have been whack.
3, yeah. Yeah. And this is like the problem where I was sad that I had to make it 1/6 instead of 1/12.
Yeah, I wonder, counting to 12. Yeah, that's... How do you count to 12?
One way you could do it, not here though, but one way you could do it is, you use a bi-arm on a 4-track, and you use the fact that 3 and 4 are relatively prime.
Yeah, but that uses tracks, so can't be using VI.
Yep.
Is there a way to, like, use a combination of bi-arms and tri-arms to count to 12?
You'd have to use input suppression, I think. Because you can't, like, avoid grabbing the input. Like, you have to grab the input every 6 at, like, slowest.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think there are ways to do it with, like, making use of purification glyphs or maybe something like that. I don't know. It gets weird counting to a number that's greater than 6 in Opus Magnum. Just because, yeah, you got 6 hexes of space surrounding a single arm. So yeah, it gets weird.
But yeah, no, would getting this down to 40 instructions have gained me a place? Is what I'm curious about.
No, it wouldn't have.
Wow, okay.
We dropped down 9 instructions straight to Mr. Puzzle.
Wow, okay.
Whoa!
That's a big drop.
That was a huge jump. What the heck?
I'm guessing you were pretty confident in top 3 until
I was until
about
we
10
dropped
seconds ago.
about 9 until about 9 instructions ago. Hot damn! I was just looking over here.
Anyway, how was your VI journey?
So is this the
so
secret sauce?
so I started off trying to do the metal ring. So I would do like purify 5, try and purify copper, but like have 2 of the irons be replaced with lead, and then do like conditional denial of the purifier with an arm acting every 6. So then you only have 5 purifications, and one of them is the tin and the rest are copper, and then you have like, you grab quicksilver every 2, and then it was all sorts of complicated, and stuff kept grabbing itself, and it wasn't until way later I realized I was using a pivot right at the end, so that wasn't going to work. But I don't remember how I don't remember the exact order I developed this one, but I think I settled on the product assembly on the right side first. Not all of it though, because I figured out the tin and the quicksilver later. But like I was like, okay, I want the copper and silver to do this. Then I got the left side to make the copper and silver the way I wanted. And then I shuffled 9 and 8 and 6 all over, 9 and 8 all over the place to get the quicksilver to not crash and stuff.
To answer Hello Jasper's question, I think the left chamber uses 16 instructions.
So yeah, this right chamber is the same instruction count as mine, but this arm 2 is just, yeah, amazing. Does like 3 arms work.
Big wheel arm strong.
Right. The fascinating thing is that it denies me leaving iron in the top left corner, which means arm 1 has to use an extra instruction because I can't place the iron source there.
Do you guys remember Toxic Metallurgy?
Oh, the name sounds familiar, but I do not remember.
It's when it was a production puzzle I made. It was literally just a chamber this size. The twist was I didn't allow single arms or pistons or anything.
Oh,
so you
that
had to
one.
Yeah, so you're only allowed
only...
wheel arms. And I'm pretty sure this exact layout was like one of the best layouts for that puzzle.
I mean, like, there's only 7 places you can put arms, so
yeah,
feels logical, right?
I think I kind of divvied out, yeah, because it was a tough puzzle. I think like I put it out on the workshop and like 40 people tried it, and of the 40 people that tried it, like 7 people got it, and of the 7 people that got it, 6 of them were like in the community. So yeah, just completely stumped almost every like regular casual player. Anyway, I had another point. I forgot the point.
Was it about the wheel arm?
It was about the wheel arm. Forgot the point. Damn it. Oh well. Right, no, I remember the point. It was that you could only solve the puzzle. I divvied out like what kind of combination of like placements could solve the puzzle, and I think I got it down to 8. So yeah, that was an interesting... Yeah, it was a very unique puzzle, that one. I'm very happy to see that kind of, thing being reused here with the wheel arm being surrounded by smaller multi-arms. Anyway, that wasn't a very helpful tangent. Arm 7 is a really nice arm as well, I think. Useful in 4 different directions, essentially.
Yep. Oh. What stinks, though, probably where instructions could be saved if you were a wizard, is I'm not happy with the extra work Arm 9 has to do. Because, like, I wish I could just grab, move, drop, and just leave it, but...
Right, yeah. You're right, if there was a way to conditionally project, and you only had to do grab, move, drop. It only saves a couple of instructions, though.
Right, like, yeah, it's not so bad, but, like, that's the only place I can think of that would be an obvious instruction save.
If you're just putting it out there, 42 Wizard 42?
Wait a minute. They lied to me. They winked when I said they had 42 instructions. And you did way better.
42. That's cute.
Maybe it was 420 gold. Then it's fine. Or like something 42 gold. You got the thing that costs 2 gold.
Alright, in third place, at 33 instructions, Team Fiesta Land.
Oh. Quick, what? Cup bag.
This is different.
Cup Big Fegson. Couldn't tell you what that means.
Yeah, does anyone know what a Fegson is? Like, doesn't look like a word, and also I don't think there are any acronym or like letters. Like, is F used for anything in Opus Magnum?
This is completely different. Oh. Atomic symbols, huh?
Oh yeah, iron, mercury, lead. Okay, makes more sense.
Cup bag.
Oh, love that game.
Cup bag.
Cup bag and function.
Oh yeah, that was the player 2, wasn't it? Fegson, yeah.
So they're mentioning that this is at heart a 1.5p, like it's like the 1.5p algorithms, but they've somehow made it a 6p with some magic, which I don't understand. But
this is very magical. I'm having a hard time digesting it. So it's kind of doing the thing that Mr. Puzzle recommended with 16p earlier, where it's projecting 6 times. And then it just projects once, and that's what Arm 3 does. It just grab, drop, reset, and you get 1 projection every tape loop. And it's quite nicely worked out, such that... Yeah, Arm 5 kind of does its thing once every 3. So that's how the sterling silver gets handled at 1/6. And then this Arm 1-2 thing here is, and also Arm 4 here is very super cleverly done here. Right, so arm 1 here, it grabs, with a bi-arm it grabs once every 3, and because you need 2, you get a tin every 6. And arm 4 is just, it's a single arm that does grab, move, drop, so that also counts 2 6. And then that's when arm 2 comes in and does its grab, drop. What I'm curious about is why arm 2 needs to grab drop like that. Why can't it just do that?
It grabs tin off of the purifier and it grabs.
Oh, it grabs tin off the purifier. That's why. Okay.
Yep.
Right, and then hands it off very cleverly to arm 1. That's a super clever left chamber. That is really nice.
Yeah, this is a cool solve.
And then there's one last thing to note is the output conditional that arm 6 does. Same thing that John's did, where one of the sterling silvers has an output conditional where if it just doesn't output, that means it must be a naked sterling silver, and arm 7 plonks it onto the correct spot on the multi-bonder. And arm 7 and if it outputs, arm 7 then just grabs thin air. And also last point is that when arm 4 drops the Quicksilver, it comes back not just as a Quicksilver but with a tin onto it, and it just happens to perfectly bond onto the multi-bonder. This is a really cool solve. Like, some people were wondering why this can't be less than 1/6p, and the answer is basically, if not arm 3, then arm 4. This is a super fascinating solve. I want to stare at it for a bit longer, but I suspect it's time to move on. So, in second place, at 29 instructions, we have Team 42.
Oh. Nice work. Sub.
Congratulations, Genius, on your first top 3 finish.
As mentioned, this was entirely Genius 42. Biggie didn't even look at the solve.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hello.
Hey, I always said Genius 42 was carrying the team, and now I have proof. So what this essentially is like the super simple 1p stuff we were seeing earlier. It's just 1/6p.
Yeah, this looks pretty simple, huh? Yeah, this is a lot less wizardry than Fiesta Land, but it's more or less instructions.
It's the 1p thing, but you just 1/6p it, and you get a really low instruction count. It's just amusing to me. After all this time, we had that absolute clog in the 50 instruction region, and there was just a lot of people who just couldn't figure out how to beat the simple 1p solve. And like, a valid answer was just do the simple 1p solve, but you make that 1/6p. And same thing, it's just projecting once every loop, although it actually projects twice every loop because the because there's no because the lead also gets projected onto tin, which is what Arm 6 is for, and Arm 6 never really gets in anyone's way anyway. So you get 7 projections.
Hello,
And Arm 4 just has to do.
I heard.
Sorry.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey,
Yeah, we can
genius.
hear you.
Yep, there we go.
Hi, yeah. Just thought I'd come on to say, yeah, I was. I designed this on hex paper at work, and I spent like trying to do it in my head at work, and then I spent about 2 hours tonight trying to get it down because I did it at 53 for so long, and then I knew 1-2 was possible. It was just the iron at the top, and the only way I could get it, I needed 5 things to come in: 4 irons and 1 lead. And the way on the left, I finally managed to do it. So I'm just so proud of myself.
You're second place, dude.
Yeah, you
Excellent
should
work.
be. Well done.
Bye for now. How do I mute myself again? I can't shut myself out now.
Oh no! Oh.
You can leave the call and listen to us on stream.
Also, if I remember correctly, because Genius 42 had to take last week off, because last week they had an intense heat wave in Britain, and it was just, you can't really use brain at all because heat. And so to come back like this was just an insane return. You've come back a different alchemist. Absolutely well done. Very, very well deserved second place. You're gonna hate how much you lost by, because it was a single instruction. And yes, this was cheaper than the winning solve. In first place at 28 is Rebix.
Congratulations.
And we are back to complexity, I believe.
Oh, dear.
What?
Rebix was actually sitting on... Sorry.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, this sort of does the thing I wanted, where it's like you output 2 copper and then the lead that turns into tin, and then another 2 copper and then a hole. By delaying arm 2, if you delay arm 2, that pair of iron don't get created, and then by bonding it together, they never get consumed ever again. That's so good.
Yeah. And also, another thing, because it does get delayed, and then Arm 6 kind of activates, and it has a copper early, and it just drops it back into the other hex of the conduit. And nothing ever grabs that hex, so it just sits there forever. Because I remember, Mr. Puzzle, you were mentioning early in the stream, if we were going to see, like, usage of the conduit, 2-atom conduit, as, like, 2 separate atoms. And here, you just, you drop the conduit, you drop the dummy copper back through the conduit, and it just stays there forever.
Yeah, now someone was mentioning in chat about wishing there was a forearm. Arm 1 is a de facto forearm. Because the bonded iron, you can just pretend there's no grippers there, and it's
Kinda.
a forearm. Yeah.
It purifies 2 every 3, essentially.
Yeah. Which does the same as if Arm 1 only had 4 grippers.
So yeah, I guess another way to put it is it's counting the 6, but then it's dividing it by 2. But it's multiple. It's dividing it by. It's timesing it by 2/3. So that's a way to count. Yeah.
So what's the T on this then? Is this 1/4 T?
It's 1/6, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
I think. So if we wait till the first one
Oh yeah,
drops.
on 5 outputs, and it's just a single arm doing grab, rotate, drop. So yeah,
5.
B.
Yep. Arm 5 is impressive in general, because it has that second function to get that Quicksilver onto Arm 6 as opposed to just projecting. Also worth noting, Rebix was actually stuck on 29 for a while. They submitted a 30, then a 29, then another 29, and then only then submitted this 28. To answer Genius 42's question, this is 20G more expensive than the Team 42 solve.
It's amazing how many different approaches were possible even at like the top solution. We had essentially 3 completely different solves.
I remember a few times throughout these weeklies, we'd have like situations like Marshall Regulus area, where there were a variety of methods and stuff until you got to the top, and then they were just all the same. So it really tickles me that this was the opposite.
Yeah, like we saw the same chamber on the left like 3 times, but as soon as we got to the top, they all started getting wild.
As soon as you broke through that 50 instruction wall, they just, nothing was the same.
Yeah, this is a good metric.
Well, I've said it before, I'll say it again, production is underrated. Was that on my end?
I didn't hear anything on my end.
Uh-oh. Insufficient disk space to continue recording.
Bro.
Well, we do have the Twitch
Oh,
highlight. That's right, it's alright. We're uploading to Twitch. We'll have that Twitch video. And I'll be able to make some space and download it later.
Okay, that's good.
This was the backup thing that, Bist told me to do. Because redundancies are very helpful. Shout out to Bist.
You learned from having to re-record an entire video.
Yeah, we learned from that. It was the production puzzle last year. That was the one where we learned. Alright. Well done, one and all. That was great to go through. It is time to reveal next week's puzzle. Alright. Okay. This one comes to you from Spiritual Shampoo. It is quintessential aerogel.
Is this an area puzzle? I already hate it.
One of the metrics is area, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, but there's just... Oh, but that center of that molecule is just perfect for a little something special.
I see.
And that's super nice, and then the debonder ruins everything. Cool. God damn it.
Just so close to greatness.
Let's pretend that's a debonder, and then we're good. The other metric.
Move the calcifier one left.
Could we?
All right.
Is there a mechanism? Is there a mechanism we're missing? I feel like we're missing a mechanism.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I think we were missing a mechanism. Right. Good call. Now there's nowhere to put the calcifier. Sad.
Is there a Burlow wheel? Am I blind? Is there
right. That's what you meant.
There we go.
Here, have some air. That's all you get.
Good luck with the quintessence. Oh, what's that? You don't have a Burler wheel? That's crazy.
Wild.
Gee, I hope that doesn't matter. Sure. Wow, this entire thing needs reworking.
Billy the Wheel.
Alright, there we go. Alright, we're good. That's pretty good, actually. Fuck,
Is there no
calcifier.
calcifier? Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, that... We don't have a calcifier. Screw it.
Surprise, it's waste management.
This is wasteless without a calcifier, right? Wait, no, it really isn't.
Don't think it is. Well, maybe I'm wrong. I haven't really thought about it very hard. Alright, yeah. So your metrics are area and TI. Let me refresh myself on the secondaries.
TI, okay. That's as sure as a thing.
Alright, so TI, the secondary is sum. And for area, the secondary is product. Specifically gold time cycles. So it's essentially AX, if you are familiar with leaderboard lingo. No tertiaries for either metric, because of the nature of the secondaries. And I will make that live. Alright, puzzle is officially live on the events.cratelli webpage. So for you speed solvers out there, you are welcome to get cracking. In the meantime, though, we have some... Sorry?
I can't watch the showcase. This is so sad.
Damn. I'm message linking that meme that you put in the Weeklies, Mr. Puzzle.
I love that game.
Alright, and that should do it. Alright. Only, we don't have too many, showcases this week, because production showcase is always harder. It'd help if I actually loaded the first one up. So this is a modded, this first one's a modded showcase. So for this, so Mr. Puzzle recently made a collision patch. So for those of us using modded Opus Magnum, we're using old collision, and that messes with new collision. So this essentially patches the collision to use new collision. It also has a debugging mode, so all collisions are disabled. Do I have to untick the first box, Mr. Puzzle?
Nope.
Okay.
You can. Well, it won't matter whether that one's ticked or not.
All right, it just overrides.
But yeah. So oh, who was it? It was RPO that brought up the fact that we kept running into collision problems, and the thing is actually updating Quintessential to the new version of Opus Magnum will be an endeavor because a bunch of the obfuscation names might change. So then, like, the deobfuscated source code might change. So then all of the method names and stuff I'm familiar to might be different, and we'll have to like remap things and redo a bunch of stuff. So until that happens, we'll just make a mod that fixes it. Be like a band-aid until then.
All right, so with the mod in mind, here is no collision.
Spooky.
That's amazing. It's like that Invisible Link arm forest, except you can't see the arm bases. So yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, the only thing that this doesn't like in terms of collisions is if you put two arms in a single hex and try to do something to that hex.
So
Like-
there are. I'm not certain of all of the things. So like, disabling collisions in this way allows things to happen in the game that the game is not expecting. And when the game expects certain facts and then that's not true, and it tries to do things that can wind up crashing the game. I accidentally crashed my game while I was working on the solve because an example of this is molecules are stored as, among other things, a dictionary of hexes and the atom that's on it. And a dictionary in C# cannot contain two entries with the same key, which means you can't create a molecule that has two atoms in the same place.
Huh.
So you can have two atoms in the same place as long as they belong to two different molecules. But if you have two atoms from different molecules on the same hex, which is one end of a bonder, and you try to bond something to them, when it tries to bond to both of them, it tries to insert both atoms into the same molecule, and you get a dictionary collision, and the game doesn't check for that, because why the hell would you do that? You're not supposed to have two atoms in the same spot, and the game will crash. I'm sure there are other examples of something like that happening. I do not know them off the top of my head. That's why that warning is there, because instead of spending a bunch of time looking for all of those instances, it's better to just say, throw together a quick demo debug option. If it crashes, you'll understand why. You won't be surprised.
Hello,
does.
Jasper asks, is it, with this debug mode, is it possible to make a metric for a puzzle that is interesting without any collision?
Area could be probably area is the easiest thing, because you can put multiple arms on the same base. You can let atoms phase through each other. Atoms can phase through arms. Two arms on the same track can slide past each other, no problem. You can obviously go through walls in production, but no collisions in production is terribly boring, other than the fact that you get a conduit. But
So is stuff like cycles, would it differ much from, say, overlap cycles or overlap rate?
So one example I can pull off the top of my head is one of the tricky things about building this particular product is if you do the metal ring route around a hex arm, you would have to remove that 5-atom molecule in a very particular way, because you're not allowed to go through the hex arm.
Right.
So cycles would no longer be limited by geometry or by atoms that already exist. Another example is, take a look at the Quicksilver in the left chamber. I can load 2 Quicksilver onto the same projector,
Oh yeah.
letting me project twice. Also, you can do interesting wand-like things where if you're currently holding a newer atom and you swing through a space that has an older atom, I believe you can swap which atom you're holding. Grab priority. So you can swap what you're holding with something else without dropping, which is an interesting sleight of hand.
It's like overlap, but different. This is to overlap what overlap is to the normal game.
Bizarro overlap, yeah.
Yeah, it's just overlap, but more bizarre. Or at least that's what I'm hoping.
I would be interested in, at some point, looking into trying to disable just arm collisions, or just like something, so then it's like the atoms collide the same, but the arm bases are ghosts. That would be a more invasive mod, because you would need to rewrite the collision detector so that arm collisions and atom collisions are separate, because it currently does everything at once.
If you were to just disable arm collisions and essentially make the arm bases ghosts, that makes TI very weird, if I'm not mistaken. Because then stuff like, I mean, for Cuprite we were talking about like what do you call it, like atom building like stations, where you just have like a couple of wheel arms and they rotate around each other and you get giant molecules. You can take that idea a lot further if the arm's bases don't register collision, because then the molecule never collides into an arm. And you can essentially have these production stations, but just have the giant molecule swing right through an arm, and then have that arm do stuff, and yeah, that gets weird. Yeah, there's a lot of parameters that get changed in weird ways.
Yeah, it's wild.
Alright. I'm gonna turn that back off just in case. Moving on, Mr. Puzzle's other showcase, Overlap. Very nice.
Yep. This is a overlap tech unique to conduits. There's an interesting reason for why this happens, and I can save that for a discussion in the quintessential thread. But the short answer is that when an arm drops a molecule, it adds it to a special list, and conduits check if molecules are in that special list and if they're allowed to go through. And if it does, it'll copy it, remove it from the list, and move it. But if you have a bonder and a debonder, it will remove that molecule from the list of molecules that exist, which is separate from the list of molecules that were dropped. So you can have you have multiple pointers to the same thing, and then both of them get modified in different ways.
Biggie just accused you of hacking in the chat.
Huh? But the other solve was the hacking. The other solve was literally me hacking the game.
Well, that's a fair cop. Alright, next showcase is Calyresis. XVOVII. This is also overlap. But no, but only, no, only vintage metrics. So there you go, 15 instructions.
Ooh.
That worked out nicely. We got an overlap showcase for both metrics. This is really nice, actually. I really like this. Is there a way to... Would there be a way to use that cloning thing to reduce the instruction count? Or is that like a cycles trick?
I don't know. Well, so the thing with the cloning is that you can see it takes a lot of setup, and you need to use, like, cause you need to create the thing you want to clone and put it on the conduit, along with a atom off of the conduit for it to bond and debond. And I would imagine that trying to get that stuff set up just would take too many instructions.
Oh, Calyresis mentions this is kind of the 1/6p solve they were trying to get to work. The overlapping is just output, because it's the outputting that they don't have enough room for. I can see why they barely don't have enough room. It's ARM 5 that really kills it, because if ARM 5 didn't rotate like where it does, say it's like here, you can put it, whoops, you can put the whole thing down here, and then you might, have enough room to output. Wow, interesting. So yeah, Calyresis was going for the W, just barely couldn't get it to work. Oh, okay, so you can do that, but it's still not enough space. Interesting. Yeah, interesting idea. Because Rebix in their 28 I self mentioned that they think lower is possible. Do wonder how low you could get it. If this was like a tournament puzzle and we had Pentapig's services, wonder if Pentapig could have managed lower. Alright, this last one is going to require me to download a solution file. I'll just let this play in the meantime. Alright. Yeah, you were correct, Hello Jasper. It is min rate free space. So this is a free space version of the puzzle. I'm gonna have to press F10 here. Might need a second time to work. I did put it in the right folder. Why isn't it working? Shit. Can't get the solution file and puzzle file to... I hope Fiesta sent me the right puzzle file. That might be the problem here.
I mean, at worst, you could just use the merge tool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to use the merge tool. Sorry, this is gonna take a minute. Alright. Sorry, there's gonna be a bit of dead space in the stream here while I sort this out.
While you sort this out, I'm just going to complain that quintessence combined with a crystal makes for an awful speed solve. Because that's a huge ass molecule, and I can't just build the molecule first, because then I can't put the quicksilver, one of the quintessence, inside the molecule. I ended up with all sorts of jank and lost by username void by about 5 minutes.
Username void's a hell of a speed solver.
Yep, they sure are.
Yay! That's not it at all. What?
Not quite.
Go, dough.
Oh god.
Flew too close to the sun.
Alright, last attempt. I mean, if this doesn't work, I am gonna have to give up, unfortunately. No, alright, this one will work, this one will work. Sorry about that, everyone. Here we go.
Hey!
Alright, so
Like a rate solve? Nice.
we have a rate solve. Alright, so this is actual 46 to 9. So the algorithm for this is there's if I'm not mistaken, there's a 6 to so I believe there's like a 6 to 1 pipeline, and there's like two 20 to 4 pipelines, and that all adds up nicely to 46 to 9. And the 6 to 1 pipeline kind of gives you 2 extra quicksilvers, but the 20 to 4 pipelines each give you a deficit of 1 quicksilver.
It's essentially the exact same as my solution, just with a second pipeline that can take more space. Like, the 6 to 1 pipeline is pretty similar.
Yeah, so interestingly, because your winning cycle solve, it only required like 1 more of each reagent than this would have, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was 63 inputs to 12 outputs.
That sounds right. And like doing it at like the perfect rate would have only gotten you down to 62 inputs to 12 outputs.
one of the ions from the lead is going to be purified eventually, is what this requires.
I believe so. It takes a while though.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there we go. Wait, no, it's 5 seconds delayed.
Yeah, there's a delay. It's one of Arm 5's. When Arm 5 actually uses the when it actually uses its track is what you're looking out for.
I wonder how much you would have to make conduits cost if you put up conduits in free space.
That's a good question. In free space, because last year we had a weekly puzzle with a free space conduit. It didn't cost anything, but yeah.
Could be an idea for a future puzzle, although we are running.
Well, I guess
And
if you're only allowed to place one conduit, then yeah, I guess make it free. But like, it's when you are allowed to place however many conduits you like, as if it's an arm or anything like that, then you give it a cost.
yeah, I guess for the purpose of actually making a puzzle for it to be accessible, you just have it use it.
Yeah, as like a glyph. So Fiesta mentions, so there is in theory it's very orderly, but this solve is not very orderly because the kind of, to do it the orderly way, it all involves projecting iron to silver once, but doing it that way bogs down the machine terribly and smashes the quicksilver deficit wide open, and you end up with a shitload of like stored quicksilver. So what really happens is that they use the 6-to-1 recipe, not with 2 quicksilver surplus, but with 1 iron, 1 quicksilver surplus, and use that iron to over purify in the 20-to-4. So yeah, so that means they don't have to store nearly as much quicksilver, and they only have to do that double projection once at the end. But it also makes the overall logic of this incredibly hard to follow. The in free spaces kind of exists as a weird rate puzzle. It would have been like, I don't know, it's in a weird middle ground where it's annoying. Like, it's more annoying than, say, Marshall Regulus. So it's annoying enough to be annoying.
Not, like,
sorry.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, annoying but not awful.
Like, annoying, but it's not annoying enough that, like, just getting it to min rate is, like, opens the Pandora's box into super interesting theory. It's not quite that annoying.
Yeah.
But it's
Well,
also more
really
annoying than, say, a Marshall Regulus, so it's kind of hard to build. So yeah, it's in a weird middle ground if this were a free space rate puzzle.
Yeah, to make this more annoying, you'd have to have the quicksilver routing, because the quicksilver routing is really easy.
Yeah.
If you'd made that really annoying, then maybe it would have been a lot harder.
I think my idea was, if I were to try and actually make this a free space rate puzzle, would be to try and make the ratio even more annoying.
What, something like Biggie's 160 to 21?
Oh yeah, that's where it's at. Yeah, Biggie mentions in the chat there has been worse that has been seen in the workshop before. I think there's one that I remember coming to mind as having an absolutely disgusting throughput that even made Amalgamated Gold Ring look nice. But
Yeah,
it
I guess
also
what would
involved,
make it
like...
more annoying
It involved like using Rivari's wheel as the input and then something equally big as an output, and it's like you just got so many atoms to work with. It's like, of course that was going to turn into a god-awful ratio.
Yeah, so the other thing that makes this fine is that 46 to 9 is like slower than 1/5.
Just
Like,
barely, yeah.
Throughput, which means you can do every 4 loop, like something like ARM 17 is fine. Whereas if it was something like, I don't know, between every 2 and every 4, ARM 17 would be a lot more annoying.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because it's not actually that fast, 46 to 9. Which I guess is the other point about Amalgamated Gold Ring. Not being, like, obviously the ratio is horrendous, but you're not building the Amalgamated Gold Ring that often. Which ends up making, because that was a big part of the reason our Corite promotion was actually so surprisingly disgusting for Ray, because it was a 7 to 11 input to output ratio, but the input and output are both huge, and yeah, it was pretty... Yeah, everything has to happen very fast, and that just balloons your costs a lot. More inputs and outputs, but also bigger inputs and bigger outputs. That also makes stuff a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I guess bonding and debonding are a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because there's no debonding.
Alright. And I think that's where we shall call it. So hopefully I can get this uploaded to YouTube in one piece. Nevertheless, we've been on for 3 hours. I was worried this was going to be a short stream, but no. There ended up being a lot to talk about. Thank you to Mr. Puzzle and Morikonda for helping out on commentary. And thanks to everyone for submitting. This is a great week. Hopefully I will see you all for the next one. Take care.
Yep. See you next time.
Bye-bye.